Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. I'm going to show you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. Welcome everybody. I want to empower you through the tool of astrology this week. And this week we are looking at the energies that are playing out in the sky from the 8th of October until the 15th of October. Thank you so much for joining me. Before we kick off with a look at everything that's unfolding in the astral skies this week, I want to announce the winner of our September Solar Return written report. And it is Elizabeth K with a butterfly emoji symbol after her name. So Elizabeth K Butterfly, if you happen to be watching this, please contact me through the contact form on the Guiding Star Astrology website, and let's organize your solar return. Now, as for everybody else, keep on liking, sharing, and subscribing because there will be another winner of a solar return report for October. So if you like, share, or subscribe any of my videos for the month of October, you will go into the draw to win. Let me know that you've done so in the comments, and let's see who's going to be our winner for October. Now, I say this at the beginning of all of my weekly astro weather reports, but it bears repeating. This is not a mundane astrology report. I'm not here analysing what's going on in the world, which is called mundane astrology, and looking at that through the stars. That is something I do love to do, but I do that for my own gratification. This is for you. This reading is for you, to tell you what is the energy of this week, how you can work with it best, what you can expect from your week ahead. It's a personal reading, but it is also a general reading. It is not about the specific interactions with your personal astrology chart. It is a general read of the energies. So do keep that in mind as we go through. So, oh my goodness, what a week. We have so much going on this week. In fact, all of October is going to be pretty hairy. Like, I think I put a post on my Insta page about it being hairy like a Yeti or an abominable snowman. Not exactly fun, hairy. So, this is a challenging time, and we are coming towards the end of 2023, and we're going to get to the end of this year of our lives. We'll probably be quite exhausted, quite battle weary, but we will be victorious. And the reason we will be victorious is because of Uranus. Uranus is the further outer planet compared to Saturn, even though Saturn's in his own area, Aquarius, in tropical astrology, which is what I use. Even though this square has been playing out all year, it's currently very angsty. They're within a degree of one another by square. They're not exact, and they will not be exact this time round, but they are within 1 degree, which is close enough to call it the fourth square between Uranus and Saturn. And Saturn is the old order of things, the old way of doing things, the hierarchies, the rule makers, the structures. Uranus is liberation, freedom, and the power to the people. Uranus is the further outer planet. It will, in my opinion, it will always ultimately win in the long run, whatever length of time that long run actually is. But Uranus will always win because it is stronger in our lives on Earth. It projects stronger energy to our life on Earth because it is further out in the sky. Simple as that. That's a rule in astrology. The further out, the more potent the energy can be, because Uranus and Neptune and Pluto, they all sit at a certain area of the chart for a very long period of time. Therefore, you feel the impact of that energy quite intensely. So, just to reiterate back to what I was talking about, Uranus will win. So we are going to feel the battle between these two play out over October and November, particularly October, and the repercussions of October will play into November. We will be quite tired by the end of 2023, but we will be victorious. So keep that in mind with whatever comes up for you in the next couple of months. The victory will be ours, people. The victory will be ours. Okay, let's get into what's happening this week. I wanted to mention that because I know, like myself, so many of my clients and my astrological friends, who are all of you people out there on Patreon and on YouTube, have been struggling this year. It has been a tough year. We are at the end of the marathon run. We're getting there. So keep going. Don't give up. Things are changing. The energy is shifting. You might be feeling stuck in a rut right now. It's not over yet. And we are going to come out, as I said, victorious in the end. Please don't give up. Please don't give up. All right. This week, and this is going to be our energy focus when I do the all signs breakdown. This week we are looking at the little but potent planet Pluto up here in Capricorn. Why are we looking at Pluto? Well, like Uranus, the outer planet, Pluto packs a punch because he is so far out and he sits at a certain point for eons. In fact, he's currently at 26 degrees of the sign of Capricorn. He's been sitting there on and off for a year to 18 months. Like, he has been really honing in on the 26th degree. Yep, he's gone forward a bit further than that sort of earlier this year, and then he's retrograded back to that 26 degree mark. So 26 degrees is a very pivotal degree at the moment because Pluto is narrowing his energy in on that point. So let me just say, if you have planets in your personal chart at 26 degrees of Capricorn or 26 degrees of the other cardinal signs, which are Cancer, Libra and Aries, or if you have planets at 26 degrees of the other earth signs, the green ones on my astro wheel, which is Virgo or Taurus, you will be feeling the energy of Pluto more so than ever. It will be transforming your life. It will be doing a lot of inner psychological work, healing you, helping you break free of karmic patterns and karmic loops, and liberating you and helping you to find your truth, which is what he wants to achieve. And it doesn't come easy, I have to say. So Pluto has been retrograding for about 5 months now. And he's been focused on this inner psychological healing work and transformation since around the 30th of April this year. So think back, around the 30th of April, what was going on in your life? What was pertinent in your life at that time? That's what Pluto is refining and purifying and purging from your life what is not working in whatever realm was highlighted for you around the 30th of April. Maybe you could look at a couple of weeks either side of that as well. So Pluto, in his retrograde motion, wanted to make us reconsider and resolve areas of our lives where we've given our power away. And so the whole retrograde motion of Pluto during that time, the last 5 months, has been stripping back all these old past life complexes and complexes that we've carried forth into this life and are playing out again, karmic loops in this life that have kept us from our liberation and our ultimate truth. Now, that could have been in any area. It could have been in a workplace situation where you've given your power away. It could have been in a relationship where someone has dominated, controlled, and manipulated you, and you're like, I need to break away. How do I break away? How do I claim my power back? It could have been in a financial situation where that is unfolding, where, I keep, signing up for jobs where I'm not getting paid my actual worth, where I'm not getting recognized for my actual intelligence or my capabilities or my strength or whatever it happens to be. I'm not being honored here, and I need to take my power back and start living the life that I deserve. Could have been in any area, but they're just a couple of examples. So on the 9th of October, Pluto is going to quit his retrograde motion, which has been this internalization, this looking at, oh God, I'm just so not happy with this. How do I break away? We're internalizing all this psychological work about how to take our power back while Pluto is retrograde. And Pluto is highlighting for us what is not working during this time. So look back over the last 5 months. What's been shitty in your life? What have you been tearing your hair out about? What have you been frustrated about? What have you been disappointed about? Look at your life. That's what Pluto is refining, purifying, and helping you to transform and transmute. Those emotions, those feelings, those insights, they're not for nothing. The last 5 months of your life has served a purpose because Pluto wants to purify you of those things. So yes, it's been hard, and yes, it's been, transformative, but it is for our soul's greater good and greater evolution to help us break free of the karma and the karmic relationships and the karmic patterns and all that shit, so that we can move forward as a soul. Jeffrey Wolf Green spoke a lot, or wrote a lot, about how Pluto represents the journey of the soul. And in many ways, that is absolutely correct. But it's very hard to embrace our higher self, our soul work, so to speak. And only sort of, I believe, and I believe everyone watching this, higher conscious beings are able to do so without falling back into the old patterns, the old loops. Pluto is there to help you break free of that. But if you go through this process with a higher level of consciousness, like, I know that Pluto's behind this, I know what he's doing, I want to evolve, I choose to evolve, I choose to be brave and courageous and take my power back. If that is how you approach the Pluto refining energy, you will come out a winner. But people who stay stuck and don't want to change and, dig their heels in, they will suffer, because Pluto is a hard taskmaster. He works with you if you work with him, and he can bring blessing if you work with him. But if you don't, if you resist, if you sort of put the walls up and dig the heels in and put the brakes on to change and to evolution, he's going to rip that rug right out from under you. So back to what we were talking about. I get very passionate about Pluto because he is a passionate planet, and there's so much to say about him and his work. And that's why I'm loving the opportunity to talk about Pluto to you today. Back to what I was talking about, look at the last 5 months. What have been the themes of transformation, the themes of change, the themes of needing to break away, needing to own your own power? Where have those themes fallen in your life? Do the self-analysis, because that is what Pluto is now saying. It's done. This is the final hit that he's going to have in your whole lifetime on the 26th degree. And like I said, if you've got planets at any of these points, then you particularly will have been transformed over the last 5 months, changed, evolved, and grown. Particularly if you have those planets at the 26th degree of those signs that I mentioned a moment ago. So, on the 9th of October, Pluto turns direct, and this, as I just said, signifies that the inner work is done. So all that psychological change, and I'm determined now to take my power back, and I've grown, I've released what is no longer serving me, I want to be on my soul's path, I want to embrace my higher self and my journey. You're there, you've done the inner work. And now with his forward momentum, it's actually time to focus on the action of taking our power back. So we are embracing the activities that we need to embrace to make the change, to fully live our truth. Maybe we say, you know what, I can't work for this employer anymore. I'm starting to apply for new jobs everywhere, or I'm going to go out on my own and establish my own business because I'm absolutely sick of working for nothing or working for ungrateful people. Screw that. So you make the action now. Other ways might be, maybe you've been caught in the, relationship from hell and you felt obligated to stay there for whatever reason. Well, now that Pluto has gone direct, you've done the inner work. You know it's not for you. You know it's not serving your higher good and your soul's evolution. So you say to yourself, that's it. I'm going to go and see that divorce lawyer. I'm going to go and break free of the shackles of this relationship in my life and start living my truth and living what I have come here to live and not denying myself. So it could be a relationship. It could be a financial situation. Maybe you're sick to death, as I am, of being in debt. And you're like, that's it. I'm liberating myself of always, being in debt. I'm going to go buy that small property and I'm going to put solar power on it. I'm going to, and get out of this financial trap that I'm caught in. So many, many ways that this can express in our lives, and they're just a few examples. But by looking at the last 5 months, you will understand how it is impacting you. Now, as I said, if you've got planets around this 26th degree, you will notice this more strongly, and you will notice it by now feeling the urge to take your power back, to liberate yourself from people, places, situations of oppression. You'll be embracing your truth, what is really true to you. It doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter their opinion. Screw what everyone else thinks. Now I am embracing my truth. I am setting myself free. That's a message of Pluto. The truth will set you free. We are, if you have strong energy here as well, you will be healing or transforming your emotions and your relationships, and you will be replacing what you have outgrown with much better things now. That is what Pluto is all about. True power, true passion at last. So that's what we're going to be talking about when we go through the all signs breakdown. But as you can tell, I'm on a bandwagon. I get so excited about Pluto energy because he transformed my life. Years ago, he was the catalyst for inner psychological change that changed my whole external reality, and I would never go back to who I was before that happened, even though life in many senses was easier. Even though, I fitted the mold and, blended in with society and did everything the right way, it was not my truth. It was not my passion. It was not owning my power. And I would never return to that state of being again, because liberation is far better than oppression, even if it means that life can be more of a challenge sometimes. It's not always, but yeah, for me it has been. Okay, enough about that. And I will apologize for the sound of the lawnmowers in the background. It is spring here in Australia. Everything has gone bonkers green and growth is everywhere. It's so beautiful, but it does mean that I haven't been able to find a time to record my video where there isn't a lawnmower going in our street. So if you can hear that noise, I do profusely apologize. The other thing that is really, really powerful on and around the 9th, it depends where you are in the world. Where I live in Melbourne, I don't live in Melbourne, I live near Melbourne or in the Melbourne time zone. It'll be for me on the 10th of October, but it might be on the 9th for you, depending where you are in the world. But we're looking at a full moon here in Aries. So here is the moon in Aries, and it's opposite the sun, which always creates a full moon. This full moon at 16 degrees, okay, if you've got planets here or in any of the other cardinal signs, Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, Aries, or also in any of the fire signs, 16 degrees of the fire signs, Sagittarius or Leo, this is going to be felt by you very, very powerfully, but we will all be under this effect. And there's a very good reason for that. This particular full moon signals the potential for a massive crash of the financial markets. Now, I don't usually go into financial astrology on my YouTube channel. I will be talking more about that sort of thing in the future on my Patreon channel, but this is nothing to be taken lightly. And I will be talking extensively about the financial impact of this particular full moon in Aries and what it might mean for all signs at my Patreon family full moon in Aries report. You won't want to miss this one. And if you want to join in, you can just join up for just this video if you want to. It'll be just $4 or $5, I think, to join in for this full moon video. But if you want to come on board and get all the videos that I share about financial astrology, about the full moon, about the new moon, you get 3 reports each month, and they're video reports just like you're getting here, but they're exclusively for my Patreon family. Then the link is in the description below if you'd like to participate in that. So there's a number of 5 different levels you can join at. There's just, access to a full moon report or access to a new moon report. But if you can go higher than that and get access to all 3 astrology videos for the month, and then higher levels than that give you exclusive content to, you get gifts and a calendar of astrological events for each month and things like that. So it's great. You don't want to miss it, and it's affordable for everyone, no matter what stage you are at with your financial status. So do check that out in the description below. Thank you for letting me talk about that. But finance is going to be one of the key themes of this full moon. I can't reiterate that enough. If you are, interested in financial, cycles and what have you, you're going to want to listen to that report. But finance aside, when the sun and moon are in opposition like this, it does create a confrontational energy because, you're opposite. You're like a seesaw trying to balance itself. And there is this energy of confrontation, particularly in Aries, when the full moon is in Aries, Now, Aries is all sorts of wonderful things. Hello to my beautiful Aries strong viewers out there. I love you dearly. But it is the sign of war. It's the god of war. And confrontational experiences can often ensue under a full moon in Aries energy, particularly if you've got planets around in Aries or around this degree. So our energy can feel like it's flowing out of us. Like our vitality is just like, whoa, as our character becomes tested under a full moon in Aries, and our egos get poked by circumstances, people, and places and things in our life that stir us up. Be aware of that. And while Venus, she is involved in this dynamic because of her proximity to the sun, she is combust, she's lost in the glare of the sun. So, financial balance, diplomacy, and relational harmony might be harder to find. Now, look, there are some blessings that will come with this moon as well. And I'll talk more about those for my Patreon members, the blessings and the opportunities and the way to work with this energy to get the best out of it that you can. So do pop over and join us at the Patreon family to understand more about this precious and cycle-changing full moon in Aries. Now, a little bit more about what's unfolding this week. Just to let you know, we're going to talk about Pluto in just a second, but just to let you know, on the 11th of October, Mercury down here in Virgo will move into Libra, where it does very well in Libra. It's an air sign, and Mercury does well in air signs. Then on the 12th of October, we're going to have the Sun here in a trine to Saturn up here in Aquarius. So these guys are tangling in a really healthy way. If you want to know about the details for these particular interactions, then do follow along with my Insta page because, or even look here, subscribe to my YouTube channel because I do post the daily astrology for you there. And then we have also on the 12th. The 12th is going to be a big day. I just will point out there's like tons of energy shifts that are occurring on the 12th. You're going to notice it, all right? Then we have Mercury in opposition to Jupiter on the 12th as well. Boom, there's another one. And then we also have Mars so all the planets are getting in on the act. Mars will be squaring Neptune at 23 degrees there on the 12th as well. Boom, the 12th is going to be very, very energetically active, and you'll notice it. Then finally, this week on the 14th, Venus, who is here in Libra, is going to be making another trine aspect to Saturn. She'll catch up with the Sun, and they'll be trining. She'll be catch up to that degree, that 18th degree where Saturn is at, and they'll be trining. So that is what is going on this week, and you can tell just by looking at the chart, busy, busy, busy. That ain't all. October is going to be flat out, okay? So put your armor on, put your high vibrational energy on, and let's get out there and get through this month and November, and then celebrate when we get to the end of the year. Okay. So let's begin. We're going to start by looking at the Pluto shift from retrograde motion into forward motion, direct motion on the 9th. I'm so happy about this change, this shift of energy. So very keen to share this one with you. We're going to start here with Capricorn. So for our Capricorn friends, you are going to be able to take your power back in a very personal way because Pluto is turning direct in your first house of survival, our main reason for incarnation, and the ability to be independent and focused on the self. So for you guys, it's going to influence you very personally. Your reason for incarnation is going to be empowered by this. Now, your reason for incarnation could be a million different things based on your personal astrology chart. So I can't break that down for everybody, obviously, but think about it. Why have you come here? What is your purpose for being here? Why are you in this life? Maybe you're here to bring more joy to the world. Pluto's going to empower you to do that. Maybe you are here to be a really good mum, and so Pluto's going to empower you with that. Maybe you are here to find the love of your life and reconnect in this lifetime with a soulmate or a twin flame if you're into that sort of thing. Pluto is going to empower you to achieve that by turning direct in your first house. Maybe your purpose is here to help bring more light to the world and help others ascend through sharing the gift of your knowledge. Pluto is going to empower you to do that. What do you feel is your heart's drive and purpose for being here in this incarnation? Pluto is going to empower you with whatever that is, whatever you feel is your heart's purpose, your mission. So in that way, it's going to influence you personally. It's going to empower you. And if you haven't been living your mission and your purpose, Capricorn, then he's going to help you to by setting you free of whatever is holding you back, whatever is blocking you now. You can take action towards the mission and the purpose that you feel is your reason for incarnation. He's going to heal and transform any emotions that are blocking you and holding you back from your reason for incarnation. Any relationships that are not aligned with your greater truth. And by that, I just don't mean, lovey-dovey relationships. I also mean relationships with neighbors, relationships with bosses, relationships with siblings, relationships with parents. What relationships are not serving you? Now you have the impetus to cut out toxic relationships that hold you back from your personal mission. So in that sense, it is going to free you from situations, people, places of oppression. And what it's going to do is replace them with better things. So you might have, not known what your mission or purpose is. And then here comes Pluto into the first house, and suddenly it's transformed. You thought your mission was X, Y, Z, and now you know your mission is ZPQ, something completely different. You're going to replace a sort of a lost mission and a lost purpose with something new, something different, something that feels more aligned with your soul's growth now. There could be some physical effects, but generally they're positive in the first house. So that could mean, feeling, well, Capricorn has to do with the knees. It's ruled by Saturn. That has to do with the bones. And so, you might be feeling like you actually stronger structurally. You have a greater foundation now in your body, in your soul, in your spirit to move forward. You really know who you are. You're owning who you are, and your physical body reflects that through greater strength, greater structure, greater foundation. So I don't know, for some Capricorn people, it can be very beneficial to go and see a chiropractor now that Pluto's turned direct in the first house of you, and make sure that your structural alignment is bang on and in the right, zone for you, that you are well aligned, I think is the term I should use there. The first house is also the impressions that we give to other people. So Capricorn people, you might be giving off an impression now of power in your aura, in your energy. When Pluto's retrograde, we internalize things, and that often means that we're not exhibiting our power, we're internalizing it, keeping it to ourselves, keeping it private while we mull over and stew over and transform different things within us psychologically. But when Pluto goes direct, the power is externalized, and people are going to know this. You're going to walk into work and people are going to go, there's something different about him, something different about her, what's changed? You're owning your power and it's exuding from you. So use that energy, use that energy to step up and say, hey, I want a pay rise, or hey, I'm taking my power back in this relationship that's been toxic, or whatever. Use that aura, that energy of I am in my power, don't mess with me, and use it to your advantage, Capricorn. All right, so thank you, Capricorn. Now we're looking at our beautiful Aquarius friends, Aquarius rising, sun or moon people. The energy of Pluto turning direct is occurring for you in your 12th house. Just remember, my beautiful Aquarian friends, if you are interested in understanding the full moon, I am talking about the massive crash in the financial markets and the financial cycles that occur, that will be lined up with the impact of this full moon over the next 2 weeks. Check it out on my Patreon video if you would like to know more. Sign up for a month, sign up for however you want, however long you want. You won't want to miss this particular video. So, Aquarius with Pluto direct in the 12th house. Well, it can be difficult to get a grasp on what Pluto is up to here in the 12th house. This is our rear view mirror. Well, not even our rear view mirror. It's our blind spot. We can't see what's going on in the 12th house. This is us, and this is just behind us, just over our shoulder. We haven't got eyes in the back of our head to see what's going on. But rest assured that the angels and the higher beings will be acting on your behalf now, and taking, like Pluto direct is to take action, to be powerful, to move with forward momentum in life. So your guides, your angels, higher beings are actually going to take action on your behalf. They're going to pull some strings now on your behalf, Aquarius, to make things happen for you in your life. You might have felt like you're stuck in a rut, twiddling your thumbs, everything's going backwards. Now the momentum is forward, and it's almost like you don't even have to do anything. You can let go and let God, and they're going to take care of it all for you. They're going to put you in the right place at the right time to help you transform some old karma, some old loop, some old, deep psychological imprint. It's all aligning for you to support you now with this Pluto energy. The 12th house is a moksha house, which is a liberation house in Vedic astrology. And so there is some letting go that is going to be happening now, some actioning of letting go. Moksha is to liberate and set free. So this includes dissolving of material things out of our life. And by material things, I don't mean like your house, your money, your car. It could be things like that, but it more than likely will be like a relationship that's toxic, or it could be a job that's not serving you. Like I keep using those as illustrations, but it could be anything that is affecting your material life. Whatever is affecting your material life, it is likely to dissolve now for the greater good. And the key with a liberation house, a moksha house, is to practice acceptance in order to get the benefits. This is what alchemy is. We actually transform our emotional reactivity into the practice of acceptance and knowing we're in the right place at the right time and the universe has our back. That is one form of alchemy. So practice this, my beautiful Aquarian friends, and you will get the benefits of this Pluto energy. And Pluto is to dissolve anyway in the house of dissolution. So there's many things now in our Aquarian friends' lives who are experiencing the letting go, the dissolving, the removing of things that do not serve. And in doing so, you are going to be able to take your power back, but it'll be more subtle. It's not going to be like suddenly it's in my aura, I'm a powerful being, look out world, here I come. It's much more of a subtle, misty, infiltrating power that is there. And that's why I say it's often, you'll find it's the divine working for you rather than you standing up and being like a superhero and look out world, here I am. It is much more about the divine being that for you and allowing it to take the power back for you. So you will be noticing in your world that there might be people, places, situations where you've been oppressed that are now disappearing of their own accord. Yay! Dissolving out of your life. You might, like, this is a place of deep research as well and psychological understanding. So you might be finding that something you discover, something you learn, some new knowledge comes to you that sets you free and empowers you now. You might be finding that this is also a healing house, 12th house, and so there's some sort of miraculous healing is a 12th house thing that transforms your emotions and your relationships. Now, it could be a revelation, it could be an experience, and for some people, not all, but for some people, it might look like you go to the doctor, you'd had a diagnosis of, I don't know, something that's not fun, and you go to the doctor and you're like, oh my God, it's gone. Whatever you had, that wart in your foot or whatever, or that ingrown toenail, oh my God, it's suddenly just cleared up. Miraculous healing. So things that had been holding you back and oppressing you, suddenly miraculously healed with Pluto turning direct here. But also, as I said, emotions can be transformed and healed as well, miraculously in the 12th house. So that's what I'm seeing for our beautiful Aquarian friends, and it all sounds pretty good to me. Pisces rising, Pisces sun, Pisces moon, people. Okay, that's going to sit there of its own accord. Hurrah. Okay, I just want to mention, Pisces, that if you are interested in understanding the effects of this full moon in Aries that's coming up, you might want to check out this week's Patreon video on the full moon to understand about the cycles of the financial markets and the potential for a big financial crash through understanding this full moon and its implications over the next 2 weeks. So head to the Patreon family report if you want to know more and how it will affect you personally. You don't want to miss that one. Okay, Pluto is what we're talking about today. Pluto turning, oh my goodness, look at that. It did need my help to stay put, didn't it? Oh dear. What are you trying to tell me, Pisces? Things aren't what they seem? Okay. Pisces rising is putting Pluto turning direct at 26 degrees of Capricorn in their 11th house. This is the house of where we can be profitable and gainful. Pisces, you might have been struggling to be profitable and gainful over the last 5 months or so, while you internalized certain issues around, reaping rewards for the hard work that you do and the way you put yourself out there in the world. You might have been like, how am I doing this that feels like truth to me? Why is it feeling like, when I put myself out there in the world that I don't get remunerated appropriately? Or, you might have been going through all these sorts of analysis in your being. Like, I'm tired of doing things this way. I've got to change things so they're more in alignment with my truth, so that I can be remunerated for my work in a way that feels uplifting to me and in alignment with how much effort I put in and that sort of thing. You've been processing that for about 5 months now. So when Pluto goes direct, it's like all of a sudden, okay, I know how to get the rewards and gains that I need, and I'm going to claim the rewards and gains from my efforts in career or my work out there in the world, whatever that looks like for you. I know how to claim those things and own those things now, and I'm going to claim what is rightly mine in terms of the rewards for the effort I put in, the time that I give, and the gainfulness that I deserve. So own it, Pisces. Own your power in this realm. Don't settle for second best with what you deserve. And so you might have been in a job, Pisces, where you are not getting recognized. And it could be financially or it could be for something else. And people are taking you for granted and using your work to pump themselves up or promote themselves. And, you know, you're being overlooked. Don't be a doormat, Pisces. Own your power now that Pluto's gone direct. It is time for you to say, you're not taking my work and claiming it as your own. That is mine, and I will get the reward for it. Thank you very much. Ask for that pay rise now that Pluto's gone direct, Pisces. This is the energy that you're in. The remuneration for the work you put out there in the world is 11th house energy, and where you should be claiming your power back. This is also the energy of friendship is the 11th house. So maybe a friend has been sort of taking you for granted. You know, maybe they've been sleeping on your couch for the last 3 months or something, and you're like, you know, I just want that guy gone. I'm sick of him sleeping on my couch. You know, he needs to get his act together and find his own place, you know, instead of mooching off me and not contributing anything to the rent and blah, blah, blah. Take your power back with that person, you know. And that's just an example. If there's a friendship where they are just treading on your toes, it's time to say something, Pisces. And that's not our usual style because we're so, you know, we're so gracious, Pisces people. But this is the time. This is the time to liberate yourself, to set yourself free from a friendship that might be a bit toxic, that might have been intruding on your life in some way. This is also, the 11th house has to do with the stock market. There are a couple of houses that in different ways have to do with the stock market, but the stock market is seen through this placement because it's a system, and it's systems are seen through the 11th house. So it's so interesting. You know, I've been obviously thinking a lot about financial astrology and looking at the stock market and investments and just sort of observing at the moment. But this is where we can be empowered to financially take our power back. This is a financial house, Pisces. You might like, and I would strongly encourage you to check out my video on Patreon, but you might like to consider taking your power back where you might have been oppressed financially by looking at the stock market. Pluto going direct in your 11th house. It all lines up. And if that's something, I mean, look, your natal chart does show whether you would make money from that or not. Not everybody has their chart geared towards being able to generate prosperity from that kind of thing. But if you know your chart well enough and you realize, oh, you know, that is me, I can do that, then by all means, you should look into that sort of thing. I just want to quantify, I'm not saying put your life savings on something that, you know, could go belly up in the next couple of weeks. But what I am saying is start to own your power, Pisces, when it comes to financial matters and what you deserve in the world through the stock market, through your workplace, through whatever. Start to own your power. Look into it. You know, it's so interesting to me. You go to a workshop that's on spiritual themes, and, you know, 80% of the participants will be women. You go to a financial workshop and it's the reverse. 80% of the participants are men. Where are the women learning to be financially powerful? So, you know, that's nothing to do with this reading. This is a non-gender specific reading, but I just want to say, start to own your power, women and men, about your money and where it's coming from and how empowered you are financially. So it's not something that to be neglected. And Pluto turning direct here is saying, hey, it's time. It's time to look into the stock market. It's time to perhaps look into, being part of groups or clubs or organizations that are going to give me greater networks and empower me with the right connections out there in the world to take me further. Nothing wrong with that. We are here to live our best life. So why deny ourselves that privilege? So that's a couple of things that Pluto direct might be calling you to. Effective networking, generating more wealth in your life. And so setting yourself free from where you have held, your power back in those regards. Now it's time to take your power back with your networks, your prosperity, your wealth, your friendships. Liberate yourself from anything that's holding you back there, including your own mindset about what you deserve, including your own ability to, understand and move forward with these things. So there's some healing here, some transformation here with friendship relationships, of course. And there is the chance, Pisces, to move forward in life and replace what you have outgrown. Maybe, you've outgrown the idea of, being in employment to someone else with a better thing. I'm going to generate my own income by, becoming a trader, or I'm going to generate my own income by, investing in property. I'm going to generate my own income by creating better networks and getting a better job. Replacing Pluto direct, replacing what we've outgrown with things that are now better suited to our vibration and our personal place, status vibrationally in the world. Time to make a shift, Pisces. All right, thank you, Pisces. Now, Aries rising, sun or moon people, the energy of Pluto turning direct is falling for you in an angular, that means very powerful, 10th house. Before I get there, I just want to mention again for my Aries friends, there is a potential for a big crash of the financial markets in the next 2 weeks as a result of the full moon in Aries and a number of other cycles that are all culminating now. It's nothing to be taken lightly. If you are interested in knowing more about that, do head over to my Patreon page. You can sign up for a month, you can sign up for a year, whatever you like. But do check out this video so that you can be forewarned, forearmed, Aries. Back to Pluto. Okay, what is this all about? Well, this is the house of our example to others, and you might have been struggling to sort of show up with a decent reputation in the world recently, Aries. Like you might have been trying your best to put yourself out there and be seen by the world as a good, noble, honorable person, but it's been backfiring on you while Pluto has been retrograding through your 10th house, particularly if you have your MC around 26 degrees. So you want to be an example to others. You want to have a good reputation. You want to put yourself out there and be publicly visible and respected for who you are, but it's just not been working in your favor while Pluto has been retrograde. Now it's the chance for you to take your power back in that way. Your reputation may increase, may rise now that Pluto's energy is externalized rather than internalized. And you might have been processing for the last 5 months, how do I deal with a certain circumstance that's impacting my reputation in the world? And you're processing that, and how am I going to hold up my head and, in the world, and how am I going to shine my light in the world and whatever when, I'm going through this inner dimensional turmoil. So when Pluto goes direct, now you can say, right, well, now I know how to deal with that. Now I know how to handle this situation where my reputation might be impacted, and I can take forward strides knowing that I can hold my head high. No matter what, the gossip is, no matter what the situation is, I can move forward and take my power back with my reputation. I can stand strong in my truth. So that's quite key for our Aries people this particular, as I said, on the 9th of October. So this is the area of what we do to gain respect and to gain success. So you might have been contemplating, okay, how can I move forward in life with, greater power, greater recognition, and you've been pondering on that for the last few months, 5 months, looking at your job. How can you sort of set yourself up to be in a better position with your employment that feels more secure? And you've been pondering on this. Pluto goes direct. Now you can take action. You can, go for that raise. You can go for a brand new job. You can maybe even start your own career as well. I mean, you Aries people are very entrepreneurial, and you know how to, instigate new things very, very well. So power is available to you in that regard. And you are really going through a process now, Aries, of setting yourself free from what has been holding you back from achieving greater things in the career sphere or in the sphere of, public recognition. There is the chance also, I feel, with this Pluto going direct, to heal any relationship issues with a boss or an authority figure, or even a father figure, and that can include a parent who has the more patriarchal role. So if that's the mum who wears the pants, you might be healing something with that person in your life as well. Pluto has given us the chance to process those relationships and transform those relationships and heal those relationships, or move on from them if they're not serving us. This actually, I might add, Aries, can apply to you in personal relationships as well if you have Pluto making a square aspect to your descendant degree. So if that's the case, and Pluto is squaring your descendant degree maybe at 26 degrees of Libra, then it's likely you'll take your power back from a marriage or a relationship that hasn't been serving you, that's been toxic, that's been dragging you down. So time to liberate yourself and set yourself free from something. If you haven't been getting the respect or the love that you feel you deserve, then it's time to set yourself free. Now I'm not advocating that everyone needs to go and split up. That's not what I'm saying. But maybe part of your setting yourself free is saying, that's it, we're going to counseling. I'm not going to take this anymore. And that's taking your power back. And so you go and sort out the issues in your relationship professionally. Could look like that. So please don't think that I am here cheering and advocating for everyone to split up. That's not the case. Not the case at all. What I do want, and what Pluto wants as well, is for people to be set free of what holds them back from embracing their truth and embracing their power and the reason that they've come here in the first place. So if you have felt oppressed by any of those types of relationships, Pluto is going to enable you to take your power back in some way. Now, reach out, communicate, talk to those people that you need to make change and get the forward momentum happening in that realm. Now, one thing that might happen is that this is where we can replace what we've outgrown with better things. Now, that could be, like I've just described, a relationship. You've outgrown it. It's time for it to end. It could be that a job, a career, and by career, let me just clarify this. 10th house is not so much the jobs that pay the bills, working at the checkout down at Woolworths, or making coffees in a cafe or something like that, or being a town planner, which is what I used to be. These things that paid the bills, they are not necessarily your career. They're more 6th house energy. If we're just involved in it because we've got to pay the mortgage and cover the electricity and stuff. They're not 10th house. 10th house is the house of the legacy we want to leave behind. And that's not an ego thing. Legacy that we leave behind is what this is the house of what we inherit from our family, 4th house, what we receive as a lineage. This is the house of what we give as our lineage. So maybe the lineage or the heritage that we want to leave is a beautiful book of poetry. We love our children so much, and they're coming into our lives caused us to suddenly delight in writing poetry. And that is what we want to leave, this book of published verse, poetry that we've written to honor our children when they were born, and we wrote a whole book on it or something like that. That's a legacy. Or it might be we want to make a film that tells our life story and how much we've learnt and grown and whatever, and that's the legacy that we want to leave to everyone in the world. This is the house of legacy, whatever that legacy looks like to you. So maybe you are a town planner or a barista or a checkout person, and that is, you want to be the best checkout person, the best barista, the most helpful town planner that you can be, and that's what you want to be remembered for. That's what you want to be known for. She changed the world one town planning application at a time, one coffee at a time, whatever. She made people smile whenever they came through her register, and people just always sought out to come through her checkout register because she just lifted them up so much. If that's the legacy you want to leave, then that is appropriate to the 10th house. So enough describing the 10th house and what it's all about. I'm sure you all get what I'm talking about now. But if you feel that you have been blocked in being able to give your legacy, maybe you've been too depressed to smile at people as they came through your register, or maybe your heart just wasn't in making coffees because of something that was going on in your personal life, or, you just felt it, like you were stuck in a rut or something like that. Now that Pluto is direct in your 10th house of the legacy that you give, you're going to be able to embrace giving that legacy again. And you might even change what you thought you wanted to be, the legacy that you wanted to give to the world, into something else now, because Pluto transforms. It takes something and it turns it into something new, usually something better. And that is because Pluto is like compost. You compost something down and get rid of the old, and then you put that compost on the garden and new flowers bloom. So your legacy might have changed a bit over the last 5 months, what you want to leave, what you want to be known for, what you want to be remembered for. And that's fine. You can replace it with better things because you've outgrown the old legacy and are now embracing the new. You can also remove any blockages to, embracing the legacy that you want to leave. So Pluto, Aries, I hope this helps you get a grip on what Pluto is now doing in your life and how he's working for you and how you can utilize his energy. Taurus rising, sun or moon people. Well, we are looking in this breakdown at Pluto turning direct in your 9th house. What does this mean for you? Before we get to that, I do want to mention, my beautiful Taurus friends, if you are interested in understanding this full moon cycle and how it's going to have an impact on the financial markets and the status of, our world economy, it's not something to be taken lightly. I talk extensively about this in my Patreon Full Moon in Aries report. You can sign up for a month, you can sign up for a year, whatever you want. But don't miss this particular video. It is very important that we all understand what's going on in the world, and I just encourage you to check that one out with me there at the Patreon family. The description's in the link below. Back to Pluto turning direct. Well, this is the house of where we can obtain knowledge and the light of understanding. And so Pluto is going to be like the light bulb. Ba-bum, suddenly you get it. You understand life, purpose, meaning, You've been internalizing a lot of processes, Taurus, about why am I here? What is the reason that we're going through what we're going through on the planet right now? And how can I comprehend the purpose behind all this energy and this change and this ascension symptoms and what have you. Well, deep thinking stuff. Pluto retrograding in the 9th house. You couldn't get more deep thinking than that, I don't think. So now that Pluto's direct, you're going to put what you've learnt, what you've pondered on, conclusions you've come to, into some sort of action to bring more purpose and meaning to your life. So it might mean, okay, I understand why I'm here, and I think I'm in the wrong place with, work, with place where I live, or, people that I network with or whatever. Something shifts inside you, and you discover what is true to you. You discover true meaning. You discover true purpose. You know what freedom now looks like to you, and you make changes to embrace that. So Taurus, that could look like saying, you know what, I've been stuck in this banking job. Taurus is banking. I've been stuck in this banking job for years. I think it's time that I, went and became debt-free and lived my hippie lifestyle, because I now know what true freedom is. It's not having $1 million in the bank. It is being free from obligation, perhaps you might think this, obligation to other people and being beholden to other people. And now I want to be independent. I want to be liberated. So that's it. I'm out of here. That's just an example of taking your power back, because you have come to an inner understanding of your truth and what freedom is and what liberation is to you. Your belief system has altered now because of Pluto's retrograde motion. So I hope that makes sense. I've given you an example, but that doesn't mean that's how it's going to work for everybody, obviously. We need people in the banking sector. Absolutely. Not everybody's going to go and, live a hippie lifestyle or whatever. Just because it's something that I like doesn't mean it's for everybody, but it's an example that I've used, okay? So taking your power back through the changing of your belief systems, through a new understanding of what is meaningful in life, that is the outcome of this final Pluto retrograde occurring at 26 degrees of Capricorn. It's also one of the houses rather of good karma. So there can be benefits to you because you know what? This is trining your first house, especially if you've got, say, your rising degree around 26 degrees of Taurus. You'll feel this very powerfully in a beneficial way. Suddenly you'll feel light, you'll feel free, you'll feel like the wind is in your sails, the universe has your back, all that stuff, all that goodness. So enjoy that. You will just easily slip into taking your power back and owning your own power. So I love this one. There is also the chance, and I've kind of alluded to this already, that you will have transformed and you've probably outgrown old belief systems, transformed them, and have moved into better things, better ideals, better morals, better ethics, better belief systems now. So I really do like this one. You might have outgrown the culture that you live in and just thought, hang on, this is not me. I want to live in a culture that is more aligned with my values. So you change locations. So for some people, even though this is nothing to do with the fourth house, Pluto direct here might inspire you to actually move. And embrace the culture. Now, it mightn't be like a physical move. For some, it might be. For some, it might be like an energetic move. You know what? I was part of this culture in my city. You know, I used to hang around with these people groups and whatever. I'm leaving that culture because that's not me anymore. I want a new experience of a culture that is more aligned with where I'm at. And so you don't have to actually move house to do that. If you're in a city with a lot of cultural subcultures and groups and what have you, you can absolutely do that. For some people, it might mean actually needing to relocate to a different culture, maybe even a different country in order to experience that. Okay, so liberating yourself from people, places, and things, situations that now feel oppressive because you have changed on the inside. Pluto changes us within, so therefore our outer circumstances need to alter to reflect the inner change. So very exciting in that sense. So you're really being set free to embrace your truth with Pluto having just turned direct. You might get a lot of, like I said, light bulb moments, eureka moments, and deep understandings that set you free. This is not a fast energy. In fact, Capricorn energy can be a bit plodding, to be honest, and things take time. And I'll just point out to you, Taurus people, that is why it has taken until Pluto is at the end degrees of Capricorn for us to see finally some changes in Capricornian themes, you know, governments and hierarchical structures and old traditional mindsets and things like that. We're only just sort of, Pluto's been here since 2008. And so we're only just starting to see the much needed changes coming in, and they're coming in a bit of a hurry at the moment. Anyhow, enough of that. Taking your power back in order to live your truth and align more with your beliefs is the main theme of this particular energy, and it is going to change your life in a beneficial way with great power that comes easy, without too much stress, without a headache, without sort of ripping the rug out from underneath you, Taurus. It's just going to happen with a flow because of the trine from the ninth house and the good karma of the ninth house that now causes a change. So you're going to see the world from a higher perspective, greater understanding, and it's going to bless your life. So I love this. I will just also point out for those who are older watching this video, and if you have grandchildren, this is the house of your grandchildren. So you might find that your grandchildren are somehow empowered. They're owning their power in a situation where they may have lost it. You might be seeing that playing out in your family, where your grandchildren are standing up for themselves and setting themselves free from where they have been restricted. So check in with your grandchildren, Taurus, if you have them this week. See how they're going. And yeah, hopefully it's all good. All right. Oh, and also, this is the house of if you've got anything in the Supreme Court or the High Court, and obviously not everybody has, but I will just mention if you've got some sort of a court case in those realms, this energy is going to help transform the circumstances of that particular court case, and it is going to empower you in that court case situation at a very tangible external level. So you can be set free from a court case that might have been dragging for years and going on, and you've had a headache for 20 years because of this court case. Hopefully not, but you can be set free because Pluto now direct for the final time in and around 26 degrees of Capricorn. All right. Thank you, my beautiful Taurus rising people. Gemini rising. Gemini rising, Gemini sun, Gemini moon. We are looking at Pluto going direct in your 8th house. This is a doozy. But before we get there, I want to mention to my Gemini friends that if you are interested in finding out about this full moon energy that's occurring around the same time, around the 9th of October, that is going to herald a massive change in the financial markets over the ensuing 2 weeks. There's nothing to be taken lightly. If you want to understand how it is playing out in your personal chart, what it might mean for you, then do check out my Patreon video. You can sign up for a month, you can sign up for a year, whatever you like, and you will get all the information on what is unfolding with this particular hairy full moon. So don't miss it. Okay, Pluto energy in the 8th house. Well, this is where we can take our back, where we may have been maligned by, let's call them, for the lack of a better word, evil people, criminal people. People who like mafia type people who haven't got our back, people who are, not our enemies. It's not a house of enemies, but it's criminal behavior. It's also, more than any other house, it's the house connected to sort of abusive situations, exploitation and that kind of stuff. So you can take your power back where that has been occurring in your life. Look, I'm not a Gemini person, but I've had so many people impersonating me and my accounts during Mercury retrograde. And now it's time to say, hey, no more, guys, that's it. And so that comes through maybe reporting them or whatever. So that's an example, like criminal behavior. And now you're like, no more. That's over. I'm taking my power back. Pluto direct in the house of criminal activities. Just an example there. So that's one thing that can be unfolding. This is also about embracing I should add as well, taking your power back in a sexual way too. Maybe you feel you've been sexually exploited, or and I'm not talking about something I am talking about horrible things that happen online and stuff like that. Definitely I am talking about that too, but it can happen in a more private way. Maybe you feel like your partner hasn't been honoring your sexuality, or allowing you freedom of expression with your sexuality or something, or taking advantage of your sexuality. Sexuality is an 8th house thing, or sexual intimacy rather is an 8th house thing, and so this gives you the chance to perhaps take your power back in the bedroom if you need to, when Pluto goes direct now. And this might have been sort of playing out over the last 5 months. I don't feel loved in the bedroom, or always getting rejected or whatever. And, okay, now I'm going to do something about it. I've been pondering on this for 5 months since Pluto went retrograde. Now I'm going to actually take action. I think we need to go to a sex therapist so we can discuss this. Or, I'm not going to do this anymore because it makes me uncomfortable in the bedroom. It's like taking a power, well, not like taking a power back, it is taking your power back in the sexual arena. So this could also be taking your power back to do with some sort of monetary situation. Maybe you have been, maybe during Pluto retrograde, the grandfather's will was read out or something, and you missed out, but all your siblings got something and you got nothing, and you're like, what? This is not fair, this is not just, this is not balanced. Sun's in Libra. I deserve better than this. I deserve fairness and equality. So you do something about it now that Pluto's gone direct, and you say, oh no, you know what? I need to take my power back. I deserve a cut of Grandpa's will. Now I've given you the will scenario, but it could have anything to do with other people's resources, hidden money, taxes, big investments, big businesses. It could even look like community property, where you need to have, as much of a right to utilize community property as anybody else does. It could be a public hall or a park, or something that is a communal property, which is seen through the 8th house too. So, if you need to take your power back regarding access to those things, then this is the time. Pluto direct gives you that ability. This is also the house of divorce, or spouses leaving, or what we get out of a divorce. It's like the end of the divorce process, actually, the 8th house. So for some Gemini people, maybe there's been some issues regarding a divorce, or whether you should leave or shouldn't leave, a relationship that's on the rocks, and you've been pondering on it for the last, 5 months or so. Well, this energy of Pluto going direct now says, you know what? I've made a choice. I've made a decision. I'm taking my power back regarding some sort of divorce situation. And that can include a payout from a divorce or a splitting of assets, that kind of thing. There can be sort of a sensation of taking your power back now, or liberating yourself through that kind of process. Right, we're going to go 50-50. I'm not going to settle for 40-60 or whatever it is, division of assets. I'm going to make sure I get what I deserve, and I'm taking action, Pluto direct, towards that end. So this is also the house where we can really do in-depth research into mysticism and magic and occult practices, astrology, esoteric work, and that kind of thing. And Pluto is to do deep dives. So for the last 5 months, you might have been really doing a deep dive into astrology, trying to understand it, trying to make sense of it. And it's through that deep dive, that in-depth research into these things, these hidden mysteries that you might have been doing, that you now can set yourself free, because you understand so much more now that Pluto's gone direct. So you're setting yourself free, you're liberating yourself, or you have liberated yourself because of all the work you've been doing over the last 5 months. So the truth can set you free with regard to deep research of mystical things. It can also, the truth can set you free with regard to some sudden reversal in life, because that's what the 8th house is all about too. It's about 180-degree turns around, getting out of a rut, some sort of fast change that occurs, some shocking event that happens. Pluto direct in this realm of the chart might, this is why it pertains to divorce, which can be sometimes rather a shocking, didn't see that coming kind of event, or a spouse leaving, or you leave your spouse, and it's like, wow, that came out of the blue. So this, if you feel that over the last 5 months you've been needing to set yourself free in some way, it can happen really quickly. It can come in really fast now that Pluto's direct here. The getting out of a rut, and I've used relationships as an illustration, but it could be anything really. A rut with finances or debt, or a health issue or something like that. You might have been just feeling like you're stuck, and then in comes Pluto direct, and suddenly everything's turned around on a dime. 180 degrees. Dramatic reversals that can happen because of Pluto going direct, and Pluto is the planet of this sort of transformation, this change, and it looks like it happens suddenly, but it's been working its way to the surface for about 5 months or so. I feel, my beautiful Gemini friends. Finally, this is what we receive from others. Now, that can be the financial thing that I've mentioned, but it can also be moral support, belief in people who believe in you, people who are, who have your back. And so Pluto going direct here, you might have been like, hang on, for the last 5 months, I just don't feel like people have got my back, or they don't really understand me, or whatever, and doing that deep psychological work about your relationship with other people of all sort of walks of life. And then Pluto goes direct, and you're like, I've outgrown these people, these circumstances, their moral support. I don't feel like I have it, so I'm going to make a change now. I don't have their emotional support. I'm going to make a change. We can heal and transform our emotions based on what we've been observing and experiencing over the last 5 months. And we can often replace what we've outgrown. So if you feel like you no longer have moral or emotional support from other people, then you are now in a position where you can take action to obtain it in a different way from somebody else or other people groups or something like that. You can really leave behind what you've outgrown. So in that sense, it can be empowering and help you to sort of take your power back regarding what you receive and what you're entitled to receive from the other people in your life. Anything else that this pertains to? Yeah, it's definitely the house of renewal, rebirth, transformation. So I really think more than any other sign, you Gemini people are likely to have been set free, been liberated, released from an oppressive situation as a result of Pluto turning direct on the 9th of October. Hope I've covered everything there. Okay, thank you, Gemini. Cancer rising, Cancer sun, Cancer moon people. The energy of Pluto going direct happens to fall for you guys in the 7th house, the house of connection and relationship. Before I talk about that, I do want to mention that there is a very hairy looking full moon occurring in the next couple of days on the 9th or 10th, depending where you are in the world. And this full moon in Aries is heralding a massive crash in the financial markets that will probably ensue over the following 2 weeks or so. It's not to be taken lightly. Now, I talk extensively about these financial cycles and what it might mean for all signs in my Patreon full moon in Aries report. It's a video like this one. You won't want to miss it. So do join up if you haven't done so already to the Patreon page. The link is in the description below. The video is already up there. Join up. You'll get access straight away to it and find out what it means for you, this very volatile full moon in Aries. But back to Pluto direct in the 7th house. Well, this is quite empowering for my Cancer friends, I'm pleased to say, because if you have been in any kind of partnership, a business partnership, a client provider kind of relationship, an audience, audience to performer kind of relationship, or a marriage, let me just say, if the relationship that you've been in for the last 5 months has been hell on earth and you've been like, I've got to get out of this business partnership because it's just draining my vitality and my energy. If you've been in a client relationship where they're just driving you up the wall, they won't leave you alone, and you're like, why don't they just, and frustrated, and it's been causing you issues. If your audience has been sort of really negative and aggressive towards you, which, on YouTube we do see that quite often actually in the comments section, unfortunately. Perhaps, your marriage relationship has been on the rocks and you've been doing your very best to, nurture it. You're a Cancer person after all. You do tend to nurture those things, but it is just not working. You've spent 5 months dealing internally with I'm so unhappy in this relational situation, whatever it looks like. Well, Pluto turning direct in your 7th house of partnership on the 9th of October can really energize you and give you the vitality and the strength that you need to say, I'm not doing this anymore. It is over. It is done. I'm taking my power back. I have been changed over the last 5 months. I know what my truth is. That's what Pluto wants to reveal. What is your truth? I want to set myself free where I have not felt free. So that could be any kind of relationship. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody who is Cancer rising is going to up and leave a partnership, but it does mean you're going to start to address it, and you're going to start to, maybe you've been going to counseling for something, financial counseling in a business partnership, together to try and work out your situation with your business. Maybe you've been going to marriage counseling, whatever. You might have been doing that already, but maybe you were feeling like more internalized Cancer, I'm just listening to what they have to say. I'm just wearing their, blaming of me, or their, what do they call it? The passive aggressive nature of the interaction or whatever at this counseling. And Pluto goes direct, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I need to speak my truth in this relationship. I need to stand up for what I feel has been happening. So you're in the counseling. This is a house of counseling, I might add as well. And you're like, no, like everything they've said, that's their perspective. This is my perspective. And now I'm taking my power back by sharing where I'm at. I'm not going to hide it anymore. I'm not going to keep it a secret anymore. I'm not going to pretend that this is something that it's not. We get real with Pluto. We take our power back. Now, in any circumstance, it could be like we take our power back by leaving, by sharing what we really feel, by owning our truth. It doesn't mean leaving for everybody. I just have to, it sounds like that I'm all for everybody ending their relationships. That is not the case. But it is all about where have you lost your power to somebody else, and now where you're taking it back. So for some people, that does look like leaving. For some people who are single and your Cancer energy, Cancer sun, rising or moon, and you're like, I've given up on the whole dating thing, and it's just, it's a waste of time. There's only, people, sexual harassment people out there. That's all I've seemed to get. And I've had enough of that, so I'm not doing dating anymore. In a sense, that's taking your power back as well. That's it. I'm not going out there to interact with other people who just don't have my best interests at heart and, aren't the kind of people I want to be with. So you take your power back. It could be that you're a single person and you decide, I haven't dated for years and I've just been, on my own, living this hermit life, and, and I'm actually not very happy with that, little hermit crab that you are, Cancer. And so you decide, that's it. I'm taking my power back. I'm going to start going out and trying to meet people, trying to connect with people. I'm taking my power back when it comes to relationships. I've given my power up, even to myself, by not allowing myself to interact or meet somebody new, by staying resigned and stuck in this rut. Now, Pluto direct, I'm taking my power back. And this is as a result, Cancer, of a process of integration of the energy that you've been going through, yes, for the last 5 months, but it could even be for the last, year and a half, while Pluto has been transiting this point. So very, very empowering, whether you're single or whether you are married. It's about being liberated now with relationships, all sorts of relationships, all sorts of relational circumstances. The truth now sets you free as you own your truth. You realize what your truth is and you grasp it and you own it and you take it as yours, and no longer are a doormat to your own self-sabotage, to your own connections that you've got currently in your life. This is an energy for no longer caring what other people think about relationship, and starting to attract from the world what you actually do deserve and what you actually do want when it comes to relationships. So there's healing that occurs here for you when it comes to relationships and emotions. And it's also an energy, Pluto is transformation, and it does so through giving you a better thing. Like, you've outgrown the old and it's time to embrace the new. Pluto is the transformation. He rules composting, where we break something down, and that might have been going on over the last 5 months. Something's been being broken down in a relationship that you're in order that you can put that beautiful compost, that composted, attitude to relationships, dynamic you've got with relationships, that's all been composted. Now it goes on the beautiful bulbs that are starting to emerge with new life. Something new comes in. So it can be really powerful, really beautiful. I really do feel for many Cancer people, they're making space for the new that wants to emerge relationally in their life. So very, very liberating in that sense. The 7th house is all about balance, fairness, and justice. So there might be, there's definitely the chance for my Cancer friends to take their power back and create more balance in their lives, more harmony in their lives, and more justice in their life. So that's where it's at. And that's the bottom line. Because all relationships are about the seesaw, give and take. This is you, this is me. That needing to sort of find an equilibrium. All relationships are like that. And what is happening when Pluto goes direct is we have the ability to enact our own power to bring things into fairness. No more I'm giving too much and you're just taking. Now it's about, okay, are we giving and taking equally? We take action to make that a reality. So I hope that makes sense. This is a powerful energy. It is an angular house. The 7th house is an angular house, and so when something is angular, it kicks butt. So you will be feeling this, my beautiful Cancer friends, especially if you have planets around the 26th degree of Capricorn, or your sign Cancer, or Aries, or Libra, or Virgo, or Taurus. If you've got planets there and you're a Cancer strong person, this energy will be impacting you. Okay. Thank you, beautiful Cancer friends. Now, Leo rising, Leo sun, Leo moon friends. The energy, I'm not going to slow down there for a second. The energy of Pluto going direct in Capricorn for you on the 9th of October is falling in your 6th house. Before I get to talk about that, I want to mention that there is a full moon around the 9th or 10th, depending where you are in the world, that is occurring in Aries here on this axis, and it indicates actually for the world the beginning of a massive crash in the financial markets that will be playing out potentially over the following 2 weeks. It's nothing to be taken lightly. I talk extensively about these financial cycles and what it might mean for all signs in my Patreon family Full Moon in Aries report. You won't want to miss this one. It's a video just like this. So the link is in the description below if you want to join up for however long you like. But don't miss this particular report because it's something everybody needs to know about. Back to Pluto going direct in the sign of Capricorn. Well, this is the house of our victim mentality. It's the house that can actually take us away from God the most. Through poor me, it's not fair, life's so unkind, and so on. And so here with Pluto going direct, we have probably been, while he's been retrograding for the last 5 months, feeling like a victim over something. Feeling like life hasn't been fair over something. Could have been our finances, could have been a relationship, could have been a dealings you've had with somebody who, is an enemy. It could have been in your health, and it's not fair, and life always works out this way with me, and boo-hoo. Pluto going direct is like, you know what? I'm not going to be a victim anymore. Screw that. I am going to own my power, and I'm going to do something about my health situation, do something about my financial situation, do something about this asshole who's driving me bonkers with their treatment towards me. I'm going to take my power back with adversity, difficulty, and disparity. Bring it. It is a powerful energy, Leo. Enjoy it. Enjoy feeling full of vitality again to deal with the problems of life. 6th house is the problems of life. It's where we struggle. So this Pluto direct energy is going to give you the ability to sort things out, to find more balance in life and to resolve things. So where over the last 5 months have you felt like things have been unbalanced, unfair, not serving you well? Where have things been toxic in your life, Leo? Maybe, you've been, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something in my life, stuck in a rut financially or something. And along comes Pluto going direct, and it's like, that's it. I'm going to take action to get myself out of this situation, instead of saying, nobody buys my products, and I don't have enough followers, and all that kind of stuff. And this is an energy where you're like, that's it. I'm going to create something new. You're hugely creative, Leo. I'm going to create something new. I'm going to live in empowerment, and I am going to overcome this lack or perceived lack. My son, I don't think he'll mind me saying this. He's really strong Leo. Like, if I could tell you all the planets he's got in Leo and it's his rising sign, oh my God, this kid is so creative. I'll have to share some of his stuff with you guys on a video one of these days. Super creative kid, but he has been feeling for the last 5 months like he hates the life that we are living in the town that we live in, and he's been doing all sorts of things to sort of demonstrate that he is over it, over the school he's at, over the friends he's got, over the situations that he's been in, and he wants out. So here, it's so interesting to me in the lead up this very week as I'm recording this, and Pluto is about to go direct. He's sort of hovering on this zone already. My son has embraced a whole new life and turned over a whole new leaf. To be perfectly honest with you, he's actually moved to live with a relative for a short while, to give himself a fresh start, to be a circuit breaker and create new friendships and go to a new school and give himself a whole new dynamic and get himself out of this victim. It's not fair. Things aren't working out. Things suck. And he's changed it. And that's what we're seeing here. Like, he's made complete life turnaround in order to change the dynamic that he was in. So actually, it's just the most beautiful illustration of this. What do you need to do, Leo, to change things that just don't feel right to you, where you feel a victim, where you feel like things are out of whack? What changes do you need to make? Be courageous, Leo. You're one of the most courageous signs. Be courageous. Now that Pluto has gone direct, or will be going direct on the day that this video is released, it is time. It is time to transform all your difficult life circumstances. So liberate yourself now that Pluto is supporting you to do so, Leo. Take your power back from your enemies, from disadvantaged situations. And, you have what it takes now to set yourself free. You know what your truth is. You know what you really want. This is my son. He has been like, you know what? I'm sick of twiddling my thumbs at school, just waiting to pass the time till I can get out there in the world and make something of myself. I'm going for it now. This is my truth. This is who I want to be. Why should I wait? Get out there. Take action. Do it. Set yourself free. Embrace your truth, whatever that looks like. One thing is that this is a house of healing, and Pluto going direct can see you take action towards practical healing. That's what sixth house is. So it might be you start a new diet, you do a new exercise regime, you join the gym, you start seeing a nutritionist, you get a personal trainer. You do something that changes your physical dynamic and helps to heal you. Maybe you get onto some herbs or some sort of remedies of some description, you go see a naturopath, that kind of thing that can actually transform your body and its health and its well-being for the greater good. Pluto gives you that empowerment to do that. You might even come across some sort of article, or someone might send you a meme or something like that about some sort of healthcare or wellness stuff, and you're like, oh, that's for me. That's what I need to try. If that happens for you around the 9th or 10th, that's Pluto saying, here's the answer. It's going to liberate you. It's going to transform your well-being. So keep your eyes peeled as well, Leo, for those sort of things happening as well. This is the chance to replace what you have outgrown with better things, health-wise, connection-wise, when it comes to sort of workmates and colleagues, maybe you've been hanging around with the wrong people and they're bringing you down or whatever. Replace, like my son has done, like his environment that hasn't been healthy with something that's much better for him now. Replace what you've outgrown and what is no longer serving you with better circumstances, better people, better healthcare, better, and you will not regret it. Pluto direct is here to help you do that and be in your empowerment with it. So I love this, Leo. Exciting times. Okay, Virgo rising, Virgo sun, Virgo moon people. The energy of Pluto going direct for you guys is falling in the 5th house, another blessed house in the horoscope, a house of good karma. So before I talk about this, I do want to mention that there is a pretty interesting full moon occurring here on this axis this week, and I talk extensively about this particular full moon in my full moon report on my Patreon family page. This is important because it does indicate a massive crash in financial markets that will ensue for begin at some stage in the 2 weeks after the full moon. It's nothing to be taken lightly. So you won't want to miss this one. The link is in the description below to join up with the Patreon family and get this full moon report about the financial situation of the world and how it applies to you. But Pluto turning direct in your 5th house means you can take your power back from difficult circumstances you might have had with a lover or with children. So not that children are here to sort of cause us trouble and difficulty, but there might have been a situation where, I don't know, Virgo, maybe you're sort of similar age to me, and you've got maybe adult children. You might have children in their 20s living with you, and you're like, oh my God, I just want my home back. I just want to, them to stop mooching off me. And you've been going through this process with Pluto retrograding in the 5th house for the last 5 months, where you're like, how do I tell them? How do I kick them out and tell them to go get their own apartment or whatever? I need my space and freedom. It's been 25 long years. This Pluto going direct is going to be like, you know what? I'm owning my power. Kids, time to go. Your life has to be your life now, and my life has to be mine. I've done my thing. So off you go. It could be something like that. And that's just an illustration where, you may need to take your power back from your children. That can happen. Liberating yourself from people, places, things that are oppressing you. And that's one example that I've just given you. But there can be many, many examples where you need to say enough's enough with maybe some behavior that your children are exhibiting, or maybe a lover, a boyfriend, a girlfriend is taking advantage of you, or not honoring you as you feel you need to be. Maybe they are, maybe they're neglecting you, or that over the last 5 months they haven't treated you well or something, and you've been like pondering on that and internalizing that. Now it's time to speak up and say, hey, I'm here and I deserve XYZ. We take our power back with these people when Pluto moves direct. But this is a good house. This is a house of good karma. It's a house of joy and exhilaration, excitement and happiness. It's the fire of God within us, the fifth house. Beautiful, beautiful. So this Pluto going direct here can really stoke that fire. It can, increase your joy, increase your excitement and your happiness, your optimism for living. Pluto direct in the house of happiness. So I'm loving this energy. And this will usually come by seeing a way that you can set yourself free from anything that's kept you from joy, kept you from happiness. Over the past 5 months, you might have been sort of feeling like you're stuck in a rut and like things aren't helping you, or joy is hard to find, or you feel like something's coming, some new energy is wanting to move in, but it's just not happening yet, and you're spinning your wheels. Pluto goes direct and it's all of a sudden, this is what I want, this is what makes me happy, this is what I love. Boom, you're off and away. Pluto transforms and turns things around in many ways. So that is one expression of that. Also, your creative intelligence is seen here as well. For those of you in creative industries, you might have felt for the last 5 months like it's not gelling. Yeah, I'm doing the work, but my art's not really coming together in a way that really buzzes me. My performance has been a little bit lacking in vitality. I just haven't been on my game, with my creative expression and that sort of thing. And then boom, Pluto goes direct in the fifth house, and suddenly we're back into it. The ideas are flowing, and we're creating great art, and we're, our performance it just takes on a whole new dimension. And we're back in the game again. We're healed, we're transformed from that being in a rut process with our joy, with our performance, with our creative intelligence here. So that's a positive thing, Pluto direct in the fifth house. We also can replace things that we've outgrown with better things. So maybe over this last 5 months, as you've been dealing with maybe a lover or a boyfriend or girlfriend, and it just hasn't been gelling, it hasn't felt right. Maybe you realize when Pluto goes direct, it's kind of time. I think it's run its course. I think that's the end of the line. That can happen because, you realize that you've outgrown it. Pluto is to grow our inner self and the soul. So there's a change that comes in with Pluto going direct in that regard for some people. But rest assured, if that's what happens, you are going to embrace better things, better relationships, or a better connection with yourself and self-love. So all good with Pluto direct here in that regard. Or it could look like you transform the relationship that you have had with your lover and make it better, make it sparkle, make it more empowered. But this is a process that's probably been going on for about 18 months as Pluto has retrograded across this area of the fifth house. So, empowerment here with children, empowerment here with your lovers. Now, also children are seen from the fifth house. So your children might be experiencing this Pluto direct experience where they feel empowered. They feel like they can take their power back. They feel like that they can own their truth in some way. So if you are in a situation where you need to liberate yourself from your kids, they're going to probably feel like, yeah, mum, it's time. Or yeah, dad, I'm on it. They're ready to go. Because they are going to feel more liberated, more empowered, more like, yeah, I'm taking my power back. I need my own place. I'm sick of living under mum and dad's roof. So it's all good in that regard. So very exciting times for those of us with kids, those of us with lovers, and those of us who are creative. It is so important. Can I just say, Virgo is a very creative energy, likes to do creative things that serve a practical purpose. But it is so important to be creative. And if you've been denying your creativity, you know, maybe not writing your poetry, not doing your art, not sewing your dresses, whatever, this Pluto going direct can trigger those talents again. And I don't want you to ignore them, Virgo, because our creativity is a valuable part of who we are. In fact, we are creative because the universe is creative. We are a reflection of the universe. The universe creates. It also destroys, but in this case, this is a house of creation. It creates. And so therefore, we need to be creative as a reflection of the universe. Don't deny it in yourself, because it, you know, whether it makes you money, you know, whether it's being seen by anyone, it doesn't matter. In fact, those things are immaterial. Creativity is the mark of being a creative being. You must create. And if you haven't been doing so, especially while Pluto's been retrograde, then Pluto going direct, I hope and pray, inspires you to do so, because it will uplift your soul. And that is where the real power lies. Okay, thank you, Virgo rising, sun or moon people. Now, Libra rising, sun or moon people. Well, you guys have an interesting week ahead, I've got to say, precious Librans. Because, well, firstly, you've got Pluto turning direct in an angular house, your fourth house, but you also have the full moon on this very key axis in your chart, the relational axis. Now, let me just say about this, I'm not going to talk about this full moon in this video, but this full moon signals the potential for a massive crash of financial markets. So it's nothing to be taken lightly. And I talk extensively about these financial cycles and what it's going to mean for you, your sign Libra, and all signs. I talk about this in the Patreon full moon report. And you won't want to miss that one. It's well worth, even if you just, you know, sign up to the Patreon family once in your lifetime, this is the one you want to sign up for, because I discuss these issues that are pertinent to us all right now. Okay, but back to Pluto going direct in the fourth house. Well, this is the life foundation house, the emotional core strength house. And so for you, Libran people, it's really about owning and having empowerment with your emotions and saying, I'm not going to be, you know, pipped from pillar to post any longer by that person, that thing, that place, that circumstance. I'm owning my power with my emotions. I'm a Libra moon. I've been on a freaking emotional roller coaster since Pluto went retrograde 5 months ago. And it's only this week, as we edge towards Pluto turning direct, I'm recording this a couple of days before it actually happens, that I have got to a point where I'm like, I'm sick of being like this. You know, one day I'm up, next day I'm down. I'm tired of being on the emotional roller coaster, thanks Pluto retrograde in my fourth house. I want to embrace now security, stability. And so I'm rejecting anything out of my life that is not bringing me security, stability, and safety at an emotional level as well as a physical level. And so really feeling the empowerment of Pluto coming in, and I know it's going to really hit on the day, the 9th of October, when Pluto goes direct. So I hope all my fellow Librans watching this are the same, that, you know, I don't hope you've had a roller coaster ride, but I do hope that you are feeling stronger emotionally, empowered emotionally now, and that you can take your power back over your emotions and over your inner core strength of well-being, you know, your emotional well-being. Pluto going direct in the fourth house can bring that about. Now, this is where we can set ourselves free. Maybe we've been inhibited by our particular genetic ancestry or the expectations of our parents, or maybe we've been inhibited by, you know, our community, you know, our intimate community that we live in, where they have said, this is what's right, this is what's wrong. If you don't fit this bill, then you don't belong here, you know, and we feel inhibited. Pluto going direct says, you know what, I've pondered on those things. I've worked out where I sit with all those expectations, and you know what? I'm not embracing them anymore. I'm taking my power back. I'm liberating myself from, like I said, those people's, places, things, situations that are oppressing me in my intimate world, my emotions, my community, my family. This is an empowering change of direction for Pluto. And it's the last time he's changing direction at 26 degrees. Possibly Actually, I think he might retrograde into Capricorn in 2023 at some point as well. So it's not the last retrograde in Capricorn, but we're getting close to the final wrapping up of the work that he has been doing since 2008 in the 4th house. So really some big changes and some desire from Pluto to see you liberate yourself and set yourself free, my lovely Libran friends. So, for many Librans, this might have to do with an actual physical home. Now, everybody knows, because I talk about it so much on here, that I really want a country property. I feel like, and touch wood, that I'm not getting ahead of myself here, but I feel like I may have found a way and I may have found the property. And so Pluto going direct here, while he's been retrograding, I've been thinking about where can I go, what state should I live in, how can I afford it, blah, blah, blah. And I've been working on the internals. Pluto going direct. In fact, on the very day Pluto goes direct, I'm going to have a viewing of this property. It may be, fingers crossed, but this is just an example anyway of how it can work. Maybe the chance to liberate myself with regard to place of living and come into my truth with the place where I reside that feels more like home, more like where I want to be, more like my core foundation physically, in the physical realm. My home, my garden, my land, my property. It is about empowerment with those things. So for those of us who are Librans and looking to buy property or been thinking about it, Pluto going direct can be our secret weapon in our 4th house in that regard. It can liberate us. It can also heal us. It can also transform us with regard to where we live. Maybe you're not looking to buy a new place, but maybe you've hated where you've been living, or it's uncomfortable, or there's something wrong with your house, or it's got leaky plumbing or something. Well, Pluto going direct can give you the impetus to make those changes. I'm going to change the community I'm involved in. I'm going to change that plumbing situation that I've been dealing with for the last 5 months. There's transformations that occur with our home with this particular energy as well. Now, I'll point out for Librans, if you have your descendant degree Libra at 26 degrees, then Pluto will be squaring that as well, and that can bring changes with relationships too. So it might look like you encountering a new relationship that liberates you or sets you free. It may look like you saying this relationship is not liberating me, so I'm calling an end to it. I'm taking my power back from this liberation this relationship that's been toxic in my life. So again, transformations that can occur relationally. The 4th house and the 10th house can actually have a bit of an impact on our personal relationships. I just need to let you know. And you are all about relationships, Libra, as we know. But this energy of Pluto going direct is about the truth setting you free. In that sense, you will find your truth with your community, with your home, what is true to you about, where you live, the nature of your home. You will find whatever is truth to you regarding your emotional stability and happiness, and you can set yourself free because you embrace your truth now. So you can leave behind the sadness, you can leave behind the depression, you can leave behind the anxiety, and you can start to embrace beautiful things and transform your emotions. And of course, it's as within, so without. When your emotional well-being is altered, then things change in your external reality. So, as I said, I'm sort of saying no more. I'm not going to engage with or put my attention on things that are toxic, relationships that are toxic, people that are in toxic energy. I'm not buying into that, because I want my emotional well-being to be healthy and flourishing and blossoming, so that then my external world is healthy and flourishing and blossoming too. So I'm thankful for what Pluto's done over the last 5 months of decomposing, composting the emotions that needed to go. And now that compost can be put on something new that wants to come in, a new relationship, a new home, a new, renovation of the house or whatever, that can transform things into something much, much better now that Pluto is direct. I will just conclude by saying Pluto is to renovate things. So it can be breathing the breath of life back into something that you thought was dead. So it could be a house that you decide to renovate. It could be, your role as a parent, and you've been like, I'm so over this, I can't stand it anymore. And then Pluto breathes the breath of life back into, okay, I can do this parenting thing. I feel good about this. Right, I'm on track with this parenting thing. I can keep going. You know, Pluto can give the breath of life to fourth house things here, to renovate though where we felt like we were crumbling away. So yay, thanks Pluto, helping us rise from the ashes. Scorpio rising, sun or moon people. Well, the energy of Pluto going direct is falling for you down here in your third house. But before we talk about that, Scorpio, I do want to mention there is a full moon occurring here in Aries on this axis over the next, in the next couple of days, and it signals the potential for a massive crash of the financial markets in the ensuing 2 weeks after this particular full moon. So it's nothing to be taken lightly, and I talk extensively about these financial cycles and what it means for your sign and all signs in my Patreon full moon in Aries report video. You won't want to miss this one. If you never sign up for one of my Patreon videos, but you've thought you might like to at some stage, I would highly recommend doing so for this one. You can just sign up for a month, you can sign up for a year, whatever, but this one is one you don't want to miss. Okay, Scorpio, third house energy, not Saturn, Pluto, with Pluto going direct. Well, this is where we can liberate ourselves and take our power back. So this could be with a neighbor, this could be with a relative, this could be with some sibling, and we've spent the past 5 months of Pluto retrograding here going, oh gosh, I don't know how to speak my truth to this person or ask them to stop, parking their car on my nature strip or whatever, and we've been like umming and ahhing, and then Pluto goes direct and we're like, that's it. I'm putting a note in my neighbor's mailbox saying you cannot park your car on my nature strip any longer. I'm contacting my sibling and saying, hey, I'm sick of the way you treat me like this. Please don't do it any longer. We take our power back with these particular people represented by the third house in our lives. We get the green light for that to happen. It's a very liberating energy, Pluto moving direct after his retrograde motion. And so it could be that you're liberated with what you think about. Maybe your thinking has been somewhat toxic. It's been very internalized. Maybe you've been worrying a lot about things and the mind's been going a million miles an hour, just stewing over things for the last 5 months. And perhaps it's made you quite unwell. Worry is one of the biggest causes of, health issues. So Pluto retrograding in the house of our mind and our thought processes can make our thought processes very intense and very inward, like stewing. Pluto going direct can say, oh, that's it. I'm not going to think like that anymore. I'm changing my thought processes. You might put affirmations up all over your house and that's it. I'm going to be lighter with my thoughts. I'm going to liberate myself from that heavy toxic thinking that I've been engaging in. I'm not going to follow those social media pages that make me feel like crap anymore. I'm not going to follow that YouTuber who's always so negative and, the world is a disaster and whatever. Forget that. I'm going to actually start engaging with what is truth to me, what is good to me, what is uplifting to me, and you take your power back with your thoughts. Power over your thoughts with this placement. So quite a powerful one. You could be also setting yourself free in some way through doing some therapy practices. Pluto is therapy, so that might be writing, journaling, sharing information, like speaking the truth, sharing thoughts and ideas can actually be a form of therapy. And that's why that's why people go to therapists, because they will share with them privately what they perhaps wouldn't share with others. So this is not the house of therapy, but Pluto is a planet of therapy, and it's through doing the third house things, writing in a journal, maybe sharing something on a blog, or talking with a friend, that can prove very therapeutic now and healing for you. In fact, I would pursue those sorts of things with Pluto going direct here. The third house is also where we can have bravery as a result of our mental narrative. It's the house of bravery. So Pluto going direct here can liberate you from where your bravery and your courage was being sapped and, pulled out of you. So Pluto here empowers that bravery once more, because your mental dialogue is less self-sabotaging and more uplifting. So really, really good. If you are in a position where you are buying or selling or trading, you have a great ability to succeed now, to pursue your ambitions now with regard to those, like a small business is seen from here, and to have success in a small business, I would add as well. Some of you might have been pondering on starting a small business while Pluto was retrograding. Now is the time to take action if that is the case and it's something that you have wanted to do. This is the house of self-made wealth. Pluto is the god of great wealth. So as he reaches the final stages of Capricorn, I would suggest, if you've been thinking about this, Scorpio, it's time to start taking action. Maybe start that side hustle. Look into running your own business if that's something that's been on the cards for you for a while. In fact, this window between Mercury having turned direct and Mars going retrograde at the end of the month, this is the window to sort of get going if that's something that has been on the cards for you. So this is a beautiful energy for transformation of the self through our mental attitudes, as I've said, but also maybe transforming how you make money for yourself, house of self-made wealth. It could also transform your craftsmanship. You might have been struggling. Let's say you're a woodworker or a sculptor or something, and you just feel like nothing's been coming together. Every time I get a piece of marble I want to sculpt or some wood, it's just not working, and I'm just so frustrated. Last 5 months might have been, like a creative block with your talents and your craftsmanship. Lo and behold, Pluto goes direct and suddenly the mojo is back. You're on the bandwagon again and you're off and running with your creative endeavors, and your perhaps creative endeavors is more of a fifth house thing, but your craftsmanship, your ability to sew, your ability to use your hands to create a beautiful hairdo, or whatever, you're back on track. Things are gelling for you with Pluto now direct and setting you free from the blockages you might have been experiencing with those things. And finally, thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end, Sagittarius, rising, sun, or moon people. Well, the energy of Pluto going direct is occurring in your second house. This is going to be a very important week for you Sagittarians, I will just say, because not only is Pluto going direct in the second house, the house of the resources that you have to support your journey in life, but the full moon that's occurring this week, around the same time, 9th, 10th of October. Full moon signals the potential for a massive crash in the financial markets that will ensue in the coming 2 weeks. It's nothing to be taken lightly, and I talk extensively about these financial cycles and what they mean for all signs in my Patreon Full Moon in Aries report. The full moon is the trigger on the gun, so you won't want to miss this one, Sagittarian people. The link is in the description below. Do sign up to the Patreon page. You can just be for a month, you don't have to come forever, but I would encourage you not to miss this particular video. It is pertinent to you, especially because you've got Pluto going direct in the house, as I said, of finances, the things we need to support our body's journey: food, shelter, clothing, material goods, anything that we value. Now, what this might actually mean is that in some way, perhaps in the last 5 months, Sagittarian friends, you have lost your power with finances now, or material goods. Maybe, the bank's been knocking at your door, we're coming to reclaim your house or something like that. Maybe you haven't had enough cash to stock the pantry the way you usually would. Now, I'm not saying this is a house of oppression and that Pluto retrograding here oppresses you, but you might have just been needing to, tighten the purse strings a little bit. Maybe somebody has been sucking you dry from your money. Could have been a partner, could have been a business associate, and they're just like treating you like you're Mr. or Mrs. Moneybags. And that's a form of material oppression. This is the house of your self-sufficiency as well. So you might have plenty for yourself, and be able to support your life sustainably through your own initiation, second house. But there might have been somebody who was oppressing you financially. Like I said, the bank or a partner or a business associate or something. So people, places, things might have been oppressing your ability to generate resources. And this could have been highlighted a great deal over the last 5 months. So what does Pluto going direct in the second house mean? It means you can take your power back now. You can say, right, I'm doing what I need to change my material circumstances, and I'm taking action. I'm not just going to sit here and let everybody suck me dry from my resources. You know, maybe I've got a child who just empties the pantry the moment I stock it. And that's a form of, somebody draining your resources. Maybe you're like, that's it, I'm putting a lock on the pantry door, or I'm putting some rules in place in the family that say no more snacks before dinner time. The snacks are there as treats, and you don't go and clear out the pantry and then there's nothing left. That's one example. You're taking your power back with your resources where they've been being drained perhaps for the last 5 months. So that's one example. But this is also the house of our self-worth, how we value ourselves. And maybe over the last 5 months, Sagittarius, you haven't been honoring yourself. You've been letting somebody treat you like a doormat, walk all over you, run your life, control your life. Pluto is manipulation, coercion, power, and control. And that may have been going on for 5 months since Pluto turned retrograde. Now when Pluto goes direct, you're like, that is it. I'm honoring myself. I'm putting myself first. I'm not being a doormat anymore. I'm not going to self-sabotage my own life, and I'm not going to let anyone else sabotage me from living the full life I want to live, from valuing my life, from loving my life. And so you take action. Pluto direct gives you that empowerment. It's wonderful. The truth will set you free. This applies to Pluto turning direct. You know your truth. You know that you're valuable, and you know what you need to bring happiness into your life. Be that in a material sense with, you know what action you need to take to create more shelter, food, clothing, money in the bank, whatever. You know what you need to do. That knowing that truth and then actioning that truth when Pluto goes direct is what will set you free and liberate you. This Pluto energy is about transforming the second house, transforming your relationship with the material world, your relationship with your own self-worth, your relationship with the ability to thrive and survive of your own accord. This is the house of self-sufficiency and being independent and generating your own material world. Now with Pluto going direct, you can embrace that. You transform what has not been working in those realms, and you own it and take your power back. I love this energy of Pluto direct here as well. Your attitude to money might have changed over the last 5 months, and you are now replacing what you've outgrown. Maybe you had a strategy for saving that is now no longer working in your life, and so you replace it with something better, Pluto direct. You change what hasn't been helping you financially, materially, self-worth related, and you replace it now with something better. You know what? This person I'm interacting with, they don't really value me. Maybe they only see me as the money bags, and they don't really value who I am. So you know what? See you later. Flick that person to the curb. I'm going to go and start to interact with this business partner or this other person who is going to value me, who is going to see me for who I am and value me beyond my ability to put, money in the bank. For example, self-worth, self-value, it goes way beyond your financial capabilities. So the truth can set you free, and the truth can be revealed when Pluto goes direct for our Sagittarian friends here. Plenty of empowerment to heal, to transform, and change your life, my beautiful Sagittarian friends. I encourage you to embrace it and create a better material existence for you. You deserve to have a happy life. You deserve to be materially prosperous and abundant and free. Pluto direct in your second house can bring that to you if you will embrace your truth and your self-worth and live it. So thank you one and all for this I'm sure it's a very, very long video. I've got the sense that I've been talking for ages. I'm starting to lose my voice. Thank you for the chance to talk about Pluto direct. It is an exciting time. Let's use it for our greater good. I'll catch you next week with another Astro Weather Report.